Call the meeting to order. Let's stand. Oh, all board members are present. Welcome, Kim, to your first meeting.
Thank you.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
So this is our organizational meeting for the year. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We need to start with the newly elected members taking the oath of office. Why don't we just stand, and I think everyone who was reelected has a copy of this oath of office, and you can join us if you want, the others. I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of School Board Member of Independent School District 721 to the best of my judgment and ability. Okay, first item on the agenda is to elect the new officers. So we'll start with the position of chair.
I will nominate Gitten Shanebar for chair.
I'll second the nomination.
Any other nominations? And this is the fun part where you get to ask 3 times.
Yes.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, or elected chair for the year. Next, vice chair.
I will nominate Sherry Brooks.
I'll second the nomination.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All in favor of Sherry for vice chair?
Aye.
Congratulations, Sherry. Next, we have the treasurer.
I'll nominate Don DeVrock.
Second.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Doing well.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Don.
Thank you.
And finally, election of clerk.
I nominate Dennis Ovechek.
Second.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Denny. How many years have you been clerk? Are you keeping track of that?
Gosh, I'm not clerk, but it's been a
least-
long time.
At least 10 plus.
What do you think?
At least 10.
Yeah, I'd say at least 10, yeah.
And then board member. has
Board
been-
members,
Going
20.
on 20,
I-
finishing 20, yeah.
That's what I thought.
You're getting an award.
Yeah, you're going to be
This week,
recognized.
right?
yeah.
Going to be recognized at the school board convention this week. Congratulations.
Oh, has the last 19th year been as fun as the first year?
I'm sure it's been more fun.
No, they've all been great. They've all been great, really.
Okay, next item on the agenda, designation of the official district depositories.
You have to go over them or just make a motion to approve them. They're all listed here.
Yeah, they're all listed on board docs.
Maybe we
with
should
an
read 'em.
attachment.
Just
You wanna
read them.
Read 'em? Round Bank of New Prague, New Market Bank, Wells Fargo, Minnesota School District Liquid Asset Fund, Fransden Bank and Trust, Lonsdale, State Bank of New Prague, U.S. Bank, PMA Securities, MN Trust, Commerce Bank, and Associated Bank.
Are there any changes from last year?
I was just going to ask that. Any new ones or?
One of the trusts, or?
Yeah, something looks different.
Yeah, no, it's Associated Bank, and that is the bank account we're using to disperse our construction funds through.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve these depositories.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have our designation of official publication. We have the New Prague Times, Lonsdale Area News and Review, and the school district website.
I'll make a motion to approve these as official publications.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I got a question. Does the school newspaper have to be included in this?
It's not an official publication, so if we won't put notices, where you put your notices of meetings and things like that to be official.
And I vote aye.
I guess all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Designation of legal counsel. Oh, now I won't be able to pronounce all these names probably. Knutson, Flynn, and Deans, Ratwick, Rozak, and Maloney, Warnson, Goggins, Ardneys, and Morris and King, Kennedy and Gravon, Heitzman and Associates, Ensign and Efron, Rupp, Anderson, Squires, Waldsberger.
Again, were there any additions to this? That's the same as last year?
Same.
Okay, same, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve these official legal counsels.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's pretty good, kitten.
Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have the setting the school board compensation. There's a file in there that has the comparisons with districts around us and comparable districts.
I guess I'm okay with keeping it the same. Is there any discussion? Okay, then I'll make a motion. We keep the compensation for the school board the same.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Again, I would like, as treasurer and business office would like that we don't wait too long, so they're not double checking for 2 years back.
To submit timesheets and for compensation. So turn in those receipts for
Yeah.
mileage and
Within at
hotels.
least 6 months. One other thing, some of you have gotten paid in the last 4 or 5 months. We had a change in the business office, and he made some mistakes, and we decided since they weren't too bad, we were going to overlook them at this time. But we'll be back on the regular schedule. She kind of got hours and days mixed up and stuff, so.
All right, thanks, Don. Next, we need to approve the meeting dates and times for 2016. In our board docs, there's a list of discussion items that we wanted to talk about before we set this. We talked about changing both meetings, both the work session and the normal monthly meeting on the fourth Monday to 6 o'clock. Work sessions have been at 6 and regular meetings have been at 6:30, but if everyone's okay with having them both start at 6, I think it's easier for everyone to keep track of times and things like that. Is that okay with everyone?
I think it'll be all right.
There are 5 Mondays in May. Therefore, the second meeting in May will be held on Monday, May 23rd, instead of the Tuesday after Memorial Day. 1 meeting in July. And our district doesn't observe Columbus Day, so we can have the first meeting in October on that Monday instead of Tuesday like we've done in the past. Also, the Truth and Taxation meeting does not have to be held separately from a board meeting. It can now be held on the second Monday in December instead of that second Thursday like we've done. As long as I've been, I don't know how long, forever. As long as that's okay with everyone.
Okay, I make a motion. We approve these meeting dates and times for 2016 with the adjustments.
And those are all on the second page of that attachment and board docs with dates.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. School board committee assignments. There's a list of the committees of what they were this year. And Kim, we haven't really talked about what you'd be interested in serving on. We can set it tonight, or we can wait and approve it at our meeting in 2 weeks. We'd like to get another person on the policy committee with Jeannie and Sherry, if you'd be interested in doing that. And then we usually have 2 school board members assigned to attend the PAC meetings.
They do that?
Yeah, so,
I
so
do that
you're
now.
at the high school?
No, I've never done it at the high school, but I can.
Do you have, where do you normally attend?
Falcon Ridge,
Okay,
generally. And the middle school I used to too.
so if you were to pick a school to be the primary attendee on, which would you prefer?
E- Either the high school or Falcon, it doesn't matter. I've got,
Pick the high school, that'd be,
That's one of,
that's where Tammy was at the
Tammy
high
was-
school.
yeah,
That'd be a perfect
Yeah,
spot.
that'd
that'd be a good one to start.
So you and Don can do the high school. Sherry will be primary on Eagle View. Do you want to still be secondary on that one, Don?
We had a change,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
so I'm at Ravenstream and Jeannie's at
Okay.
Eagleview.
So you can be primary at Ravenstream. I can be secondary at Ravenstream, so you can let me know if you can't be there. That cover? Jerry and I can do middle school. You want to be primary or secondary?
Doesn't matter, we both can go. Make sure.
I think that covers all of them. Don and Sherry, you want to stay community ed?
Sure.
Reps?
Yes.
What was Kim's second one?
I don't have a second one currently.
Well, would you like Falcon Ridge? I wouldn't mind.
I guess
When
if you think you go to Falcon Ridge anyways.
I could
Yeah, I can
take
do that.
Tammy's spot on special ed instead, or
Oh.
does that?
Okay.
When are the meetings for that?
Are you talking about taking
CPAC.
Tammy's place?
The special
The
ed, is that
special-
just that's an alternate
Right.
if you can't go?
Yep. And they're held here.
Yeah.
And Jerry actually did it for me this last week because I was, and Don couldn't make it either.
And Kim, does anything interest you? This is not, you don't have to have any obligation to this, but I just want to mention, there's a wellness committee that's going to be, that formed last April, so there'll be now a committee, and then early childhood, if that's any interest to you, and then the community education. I mean, if you have some interest in there,
Yeah, those are 2 new.
those are new and they could be filled. I mean, you know, and like Kitten said, you don't have to make a commitment tonight,
Right.
but just kind of, and if you have any questions about any of the committees, you can certainly ask us now, or
Okay.
if they come later, definitely later.
So on each of these, you attend a meeting. How often do you attend, and what is, like, the wellness committee? Start there.
They seem the wellness, early childhood, and community education seems like they meet about every quarter, so every 3 months, it looks like.
Okay.
Where's your PACs? They have designated days.
Right.
Which are usually like 4 a year, I think.
Right.
Most of the schools.
Yeah.
So it averages probably about every 3 months. It's not monthly
Okay.
or bi-monthly, so that's why I say it's like every quarter. I think, is that right, Don? For community ed, they have like 5 a year.
We met
We met last Thursday.
Fern, and we met the other day, so.
Right.
Why don't we put
every
this
3
on the
months.
agenda for 2 weeks, and we'll come up with a finalized list of assignments before then, because then you don't have to make any decisions. We won't approve anything right now at this meeting. We can talk about it for a couple weeks, and
Okay.
that sound? Yep.
Yeah, there's another one in there, teachers meet and confer, not that that's ever, anybody ever meets with that, but that's generally the chair and vice chair's job to be in that spot, I guess, if you want to take note of that.
Okay, yeah, we can update that one.
That's once a year.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
much.
Which they
At the
just
most.
started they haven't done it for years until this year, right?
Yeah.
This past year.
They've asked me to do it once a year.
Yeah, and even the negotiations, there's a negotiations committee, but we didn't have to Tim and Sandy did all the negotiations, so we didn't have to do any for that committee either.
That's a good thing
Okay,
for
so
you.
we'll just table this until our meeting,
Sure.
next business meeting. Authorize this district office staff to make electronic or paper transactions. I think that was Tim and Sandy, right?
Or designee.
And for a motion on that? Or?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to authorize district staff, Tim, Sandy, and designee for electronic and paper transactions.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Next, authorize the superintendent or director of business services to execute contracts and purchase orders that are contained within our school budget.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Then we have our consent agenda.
I make a motion, we pass consent agenda.
Second.
Any further comments on it? Don?
This is for Kimberly. It's a good idea to double check this one. Maybe not necessarily for the checks, but for a lot of personnel moves that are made from quarter to quarter or semester to semester.
Yeah, there's always quite a few staff employment listings in that agenda item.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Then we'd have one action item to approve the contract with the Scott County Mental Health.
Yep, and we've got Amy Johnson here, who's our Special Services Director, and I just asked her to come and just talk about just briefly talk about our situation right now, what our need is right now with mental health.
So the contract, I think you have it in your files so it'd be looking at trying to establish a full-time Scott County mental health therapist in our district, but it'd be a contracted service. So it'd be working with Scott County Mental Health for the hiring of that person, and then assigning that person to where we have the needs in our district. Right now, we're seeing an increased needs with students that need mental health services, and it's affecting the education going on in the buildings. Right now, we have an elementary where we have some kids on waiting lists that aren't receiving some of those services. And if some of you might be familiar, we have a grant that we work with Scott County Mental Health that provides 3 days a week currently where we have services coming into the schools. But right now, the 3 days aren't meeting the needs of our students. So a lot of the surrounding districts are looking at what they call co-located mental health services, where they have a contracted service with a mental health provider and have a full-time person within the schools. And it's a collaboration effort that the school district, the social workers mostly work in building administration with where the needs are, and then we assign where that person would go and service the students on a more full-time basis. So it's a little bit different. So the services would be billed through insurance. So it would be an arrangement that the parents would then go through a referral process. So that would be part of that fiscal part, is that the insurance would be billed. MA would also be another provider that they would bill. And then if there's any excess costs, they would look at that grant that currently exists to help offset some of those costs. And then if there was any time that they couldn't bill to the grant or to insurance, then the district would provide that extra amount. So we talked with some surrounding districts and looked at comparisons of what the bill would be. And granted, it's based on a different population, but it was around $27,000 that we thought it would cost the district for the year. And that's just based on an estimate cost. So that could fluctuate based on our kids, our families, and what our needs would be here in New Prague. So that's just that's one option that we're trying to look at to pursue providing support within our district for those services.
And Scott County would be the one hiring for the
Yep.
position, but it would be the same person here?
Yep, it would be
Located
one
here.
consistent person. So they would be in charge of hiring that person, making sure the credentials meet the qualifications, and then we would be responsible for making sure they have a space to provide those services, making sure that they have a phone, you know, and access to the buildings, those types of pieces. Yeah, any other questions about what that would look like? Does it see, it wouldn't
They
be.
have an office in each school, or how would that?
They
to
would have to
see-
have one home office, so to speak, but then every district, every school has to provide a space for them to see the students. And right now, they're already doing that when they're able to have that part-time person. So the schools are really familiar with working with Scott County Mental Health Services currently. So
And then, Amy, how, with the waiting list, and how is it going to be designated? To what school or what area is going to be?
it'll really be working with the parents.
Okay.
So as soon as the parents are notified that there might be a referral, a concern, that would work probably with the counselors and social workers primarily. And just so I'm clear, it's not just special education services, it would be any students in our district that needed this service. So then they would work with the parents to make that referral. So it would really go back on the parents in their ball court to make that call, go through the paperwork with Scott County Mental Health, and as soon as that process would start rolling with an evaluation, assessment, determining therapy services, and that would kind of work through the parents, and then we would be notified as to arrange those services in the schools. So hopefully the waiting list would then start to decrease as soon as we can get the referrals and assessment process going with our students so that we can meet the needs of the students. Typically a day, just for the logistics of the day, it would be servicing 6 to 7 students per day on average, just depending on if the therapist is traveling between schools, you know, and what does the service look like. It can be groups, it can be individual therapy, it can be family consulting, it can also be training and education for staff. So I know that's one way that we're going to try to help, because this would be a full-time employee, it wouldn't be 9 months. So it would be someone working through the summer, and I know that we would be looking at some of our professional development to help make sure that that person's working in the summer, because we can bill those services back to the grant. So that would be really looking at how to make sure that we're using that person the best way we know how. So
Could
they-
parents request services even if they don't have a referral from a teacher or
Yep.
someone associated?
Yep. As soon as that referral is made, it's more on Scott County Mental Health to determine if they would meet a certain criteria.
When
absolutely.
does this start? When does this start?
As soon as we get the contract approved, right now they're actually in a hiring process. So really, it's going to be probably in the next couple weeks, it can be that quickly, because right now they're actually doing some hiring within their organization. So, but we did ask, our request was that we wanted someone that would be qualified to work elementary through secondary. We didn't want someone that would be isolated to a certain age group, so that we could meet the needs of all of our students. So,
Would we have any problems with, since it's Scott County, with students from Lisa or Rice County?
nope.
There's
Nope,
no-
if they're getting served in our schools, we can provide the therapy services. So even though it has Scott County as a name of their organization, they're not necessarily county service. And they're just, that's part of the name of their organization. That's a good question.
Would they see students during the summer too?
Yep, they would. Right now, we're trying to they would be responsible for transportation. We're trying to figure out different ways to use our summer school, our ESY extended school year programs, to try to tie that into when they receive the therapy to help families out, just to make sure that they can get to the school to do that. And right now, they are currently doing that with our current part-time therapists. When kids qualify, they do come to the schools to receive the therapy services in the summer. So, yeah.
And are the hours going to be the hours operation of the school day, or would it be outside of that at all?
Yep, that was a good question that was brought up by one of our social workers. They would be making sure that they're here available during the school hours, but there is some flexibility if there's a family need and they have to do like a family meeting or a visit that's related to the therapy services, they would be flexible with that. So, yep.
I think this is a great service for the school district just to, you know, provide for the families, even if we end up paying some for it, because it's so hard to get kids to those appointments some of the time, and if they can just do it within their school day, then it's much easier on the children also, I
Absolutely.
would think.
And this is a need that it's all over. It's an increased need, and one of the things we've done a couple things. Increasing our counselor ratios at both high school and middle school. But this is, that that was very important, but this is also something that is
Yeah, this goes
is
above the
vital.
counselor level, so it's nice
Yep,
to provide
yep.
that.
And it's at all districts. So you talked to, Amy could talk about that. Every district in the state, it's increasing needs for mental health counseling.
Yeah, at our.
Therapy, I should say.
I was just at a director meeting just with our region on Friday, and we're in the minority right now that we don't have something in place. So this is definitely a trend that we're seeing, and it does affect the learning of our kids, and so trying to make sure that we have the supports in place. And they're there as a support to us, too. I mean, that's something that we can build that grant for, is they can help train our staff, provide resources for our staff, and work collaboratively with our social workers and counselors and administration. So that, yeah.
Our Southwest Metro Co-op belongs to this organization as well, has a contract with them too, so. It's,
Well,
like you all mentioned, it's a very important need that needs to be taken care of, and a school is a good place to take care of it.
Will all the meetings involving this between the students, parents, be in the schools?
They are willing to do home visits if they need to, if it's related to what the therapy,
Does our insurance cover?
it would be the parents' insurance. So they'd be looking at, it's all related to whatever the skill or the therapy and what the treatment would be. So if there's something where maybe transportation is an issue and they believe that there'd be a family therapy reason that the parents would have to be a part of that treatment, then they would make a home visit. Most likely, in talking to other districts, a lot of it's going to be happening during the school day. So a lot of it is going to be 1 or 2 times a week that they're going to see kids and pull them out during times that they're not receiving that core instruction. So there's unique circumstances, and I think they're willing to be flexible, but they would always make sure that we were comfortable with it as well. So it's a good question.
Who would they report to, you?
So they have their supervisor, there's a director, but then the director and I would be, the contract says minimum communication quarterly, but we would be talking on an ongoing basis. She comes down to our district monthly for interagency meetings, so I'm sure that would be a natural time that we could meet and discuss if we have any concerns or questions, or even if we felt like maybe the therapist wasn't a good fit or something like that, that we could talk about some of that.
Any further questions? Can I get a motion to approve the contract then?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Scott County Net.
Second?
You have another question?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have any negotiation updates, right, that we need to go into closed session
Yeah,
for?
it'll be quick, but we have some things.
Oh. So motion to go into closed session?
And then we'll come right back out here, finish the meeting, and then get the picture taken.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.